I'm Madam X of House of the Dreaming, here with Vampire Lounge, welcoming you to the collective. Welcome. We have with us Dr. John, who is going to share a little light on our questions about the symptoms of vampirism. Welcome, Dr. John.
I'm honored to be here.
Before we begin, can you tell us a little bit about your involvement with the vampire community and how you came into falling in with us, knowing us?
Well, basically, I was drawn into this scene, Gothic scene, through my interest in Gothic, punk, and industrial music. It's an interest that I acquired probably around 1989 and 1990. Prior to that, I had always been a lifelong devotee of classic horror movies, the great black and white movies of the 1930s and 40s, and the sci-fi movies of the 50s. And something about the black and white aesthetic that captured my imagination in my youth and stayed with me. And then when my interest in music came to coincide with that dark aesthetic, well, I was just drawn into friendships and relationships with people in this scene.
Terrific. And that's how we met. We have actually watched many films together.
That's right.
And gone to several concerts together,
That's
both
right.
in New Jersey and in Manhattan, and perhaps even in Philadelphia.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
That's right. Now, tell us a little bit about your other interests. I know that you also paint.
I post a lot of my artwork, both current and past artwork, on my website, www.drjohn.com, in which doctor is spelled out D-O-K-T-O-R-J-O-H-N, drjohn.com. So my artwork is posted there.
Terrific, terrific. Now, can I ask if you may have some patients which may be part of the vampire community or identify themselves as vampires?
Sure, from time to time, of course. First of all, because of my personal friendship with a lot of people in the scene, but also just by chance, randomly, patients may come to me who, subscribe to that particular lifestyle and personal style.
Do you think they're crazy? A lot of our viewers may be feeling some symptoms, and they may associate it with vampirism, and they may actually be leery about approaching their doctor and saying, "Doctor, I think I'm a vampire because I have such and such symptoms." How would you feel if someone approached you with a question of that nature?
Well, I don't think that it's currently the thinking in medicine or psychiatry that anybody is crazy, except those unfortunate individuals who may require institutionalization or heavy sedation because of danger to harming themselves or inability to function. No, I wouldn't say individuals in the vampire or goth scene are crazy, but like all of us, they have eccentricities, and they have eccentricities that are perhaps a little strange, a little unusual to the community at large, and maybe mistakenly or erroneously thought to be crazy, but these are just eccentricities like everybody else has.
Now, the term eccentricity to me refers to something psychological, like a fetish or an interest, like wearing black, for instance, or something along those lines. What I'm really referring to is more physical symptoms, like intolerance to the sun, which a lot of individuals in the vampire community can identify with, low blood pressure. I know that I myself have that problem. Whenever I go and get my blood pressure checked out, they always go, "Oh, there's something wrong with this machine. I'm so sorry. Let me get you a new one." And it pretty much registers on the low, as well as blood, body temperature, Other things like the inversion of sleep cycles. A lot of us are nocturnal creatures, and we really feel more alive and more in tune and more aware during the evening hours. And there's a series of different physical symptoms that the vampire community can say, well, look, how about anemia? How about vitamin B deficiency? How are these things, how would you interpret these things if someone came to you and said, look, I have all of these issues. Does that mean I'm a vampire? Or... Well,
that's an interesting question you pose. These various symptoms, signs and symptoms, can fall into several categories. When symptoms like this are a severe impediment to normal life, then it comes to be categorized as disease. But I think that the majority of individuals about whom you're speaking and whom I encounter, it's just within the what physicians call the range of normal. Maybe the far ranges, off the average, far away from the average, but within the range of human variation. Traditionally, people engaged in the bohemian lifestyle, and I'm talking about the 19th century bohemian lifestyle, were always drawn to nightlife, and as a result of engagement in nightlife activities, find themselves tired during the day, and that becomes self-reinforcing, so then they sleep during the day, and now they're refreshed by night, and the cycle reinforces itself over and over again. A lot of people in the vampire scene with whom I'm familiar have a very limited appreciation for food. The hearty appetite that a lot of the average public enjoys may not be very common in people in the goth and industrial or vampire scenes. And so occasionally deficiencies may develop. If a person doesn't eat meat, for example, they may start to fall a little shy on iron or some of the protein nutrients that are intrinsic to meat. People do that in the scene often as a matter of principle. There are a lot of vegetarians, and sometimes this gets pushed a little far to the extent where they will become anemic. But let me come back to that bohemian scene from the 19th century, because I believe that the goth scene of the 20th and 21st centuries is in direct line with the bohemians of the 19th century. I mentioned nightlife, and many people are surprised and even a little shocked to know that in those days, people who were involved in poetry and creative activities were often poor, not making a very healthy living, living in close and sometimes underprivileged environments. They may have been, as a result, subjected to illnesses. Tuberculosis was very common in those days, and there was a certain romantic notion that was attached to tuberculosis, because it did befall people living in close tenements or garrets in Paris or Rome or London, and this was actually enhanced even further by using certain makeups, and arsenic as a makeup was very common
for the pallor, to whiten the pallor.
Exactly, to create a pallor, and it was in fact toxic. And some of these young women who used the arsenicals may have been very beautiful in a gothic sense, but often did succumb to the poisonous effects of it. And when they passed on, the arsenic actually preserved their beauty for much longer than was common. So
what you're really saying is that it's all a cycle, because the more you seek to do certain things, you are creating a cycle, a metabolic cycle around yourself with this.
That's a very astute description. I agree with you entirely.
Thank you so much, Dr. John, for being in our program. I'm Madam Max of House of the Dreaming. with Vampire Lounge. Thank you for being on The Collective. Don't forget to subscribe to our videos, and I'm looking forward to zooming in on your perspectives.